Hey everybody, welcome to Buzzing About Romance. I am Becky, and joining me for this episode is Amanda. Hi Amanda.
Hi Becky.
And Jenny. Hello Jenny.
Hey Becky.
And Leah. Hi Leah.
Hi Becky.
It's Wednesday night, and this is what's happening, right? I don't know. I was going for something
It's been a week.
It's been a week.
Apparently I've freaked out all my kids because we have tornado watches. So
yeah, my group chat currently with you guys is at like 24 notifications, and I haven't looked at them because I saw one thing come across weather, and I was like, I'm not sure I need Jenny's level of crazy today on weather.
There's a lot of weather.
I was low on it though. I only posted like one picture.
Sure, she was like not Jenny-fied when it came to the weather.
I don't freak out about weather. I don't know. Michael does, but I don't
either. Oh, my Michael
I'm just
does too.
responsible for a lot of humans.
Yeah.
And I need them to move quickly.
I didn't think we were under any risk of potential flooding here, but Michael did inform me earlier that we are. Major flooding.
Major.
So, there's always that.
I'm witness to that comment.
But we are not a weather podcast. We are a romance book podcast. So we will now talk about romance books. This is our Wednesday night format episode where we discuss and review a book that we all have read. And this week, our title that we selected, this is kind of Amanda led this month a little bit.
Yeah, I was very interested in doing a rock star month. So
yeah, which I love.
I'm here for it.
Yeah.
See, Jenny loves rock stars, but Leah doesn't really care for rock stars. Heather doesn't love rock stars.
I'm picky about my rock star books.
Okay.
See, I figured out why I really like rock stars. It's because he calls it the animal, the audience.
Yes.
That was my thing in high school and college, was going to concerts, and it's just a different feel.
Yeah. I also think, so I like a billionaire romance, but right now with everything going on in the world, billionaire romances just aren't necessarily hitting as you would hope, right? I mean, some are, because I like to believe that all of our billionaires are ethical billionaires.
Right.
Our romance.
It's fiction, and it's what we want it to be.
Right?
So, yeah.
But I feel like rock stars and sports stars are kind of the acceptable, wealthy heroine.
Yeah.
So this month, Rockstar, we went with, I think, a classic rockstar romance. If you look on people's lists of best rockstar romance, this author is often in the list. So, for this episode, we are reviewing Idol by Kristen Callihan. This is book 1 in the VIP series. This is not my favorite book in this series, though. I do have one, but we'll talk about that at the end. Jenny's like, what are you talking about? This is the best one. Who wants to tell us all the things?
I can do it.
I can. Oh, Amanda, go ahead.
Amanda's going to do it. Okay.
Release date is June 7th, 2016. Tropes are rock star, frenemies to lovers, close proximity, slow burn, famous norm, meet disaster, and I would also say neighbors.
Yeah.
This series is the VIP series. It's the first book. This is interconnected standalones. It's dual first person. Put out percentage was 52%. The audio narrators, if you did the audiobook, were Lynn Barrington and Jeremy York. And this book is available everywhere on ebook and on audio. It is also Hoopla, included with Audible membership.
Yeah, the audio was included with your Audible membership. I did the audio. I really liked it. I like Jeremy York. He has a really great voice for rock stars. I think he also does a couple of Hollywood norm romances that I've read. I didn't dig. That was just not happening this week. So the audio is exceptional. It's in dual narration, which I hate duet, so that's great. We keep seeing people being like, oh, why would you even bother? Just duet. I hate duet narration.
I don't think I've listened to a book in duet narration yet.
It jars me every time the random voice comes. Like I'm in the female's POV and there's some random dude voice. I got no
Well,
time
it's
for
not
it.
random, but
It's not random.
It feels random, Jenny.
I think if I was expecting it, it wouldn't bug me. Like if I knew it was coming. But I think if it was like a surprise duet, then I don't think I would like that. But you like real, and that's like a cast.
I don't do the real
No,
audio.
real.
Like the book Real by Kennedy Ryan.
Yeah,
Real.
but that was
And that's a
different. That was an
cast.
audio production.
It's not really different though.
It is different. I don't even mind. I'm trying to think of which one we read recently where it was really done in single POV, but his voice is narrated by a dude. Like that
mean
one
her
didn't bother
voice?
me. No, like it was the whole book is single POV, but there's two audiobook narrators. Whenever he speaks,
Oh.
he is that
That
didn't
is
bug me.
essentially duet though.
Essentially, but not the same.
oh my gosh.
You're
So the answer is it
strange.
just depends.
Okay. Becky is picky, and that is fine.
Yes, the
Splitting
Amy Dawes book was
hairs.
duet, because it was soft.
But that's
I
Yeah,
mean,
but that
that's an
book was
issue
not-
with the book, not the
the book
narration.
problem. That is not the narration. Like That
Yeah, if
was
the
a
book
bad book.
sucks, like it's kind of hard to like redeem it.
Right.
I'm looking up this narrator to see if I've heard him in anything.
Okay, will you tell us that? So we're definitely in, for the month of April, our rock star era. So in this book, our rock star hero is Killian James. And our heroine is Liberty Bell, which is a terrible name.
It
I know, I
is,
felt so
right?
bad.
Like, who does that to their child?
Assholes do that to their
At
children.
least they shorten it and call her Libby for the majority of the
Right.
book, so
This
you're
is
not
true.
really getting the full
Although-
on slot there.
Yeah. This is the second week that the hero has had one of my children's names, so.
Oh,
Oh,
That is true.
oh yeah.
you're welcome. Yeah, but
Yeah.
this is so much more an improvement over last week's book.
Oh, yes.
So
Yeah.
there's that. And so
So I
let's,
have heard him, the narrator. Sorry.
Okay. what
I
have
do
we
like
heard him
his
in?
voice.
What have we heard him in?
He does a Lonnie Lynn Bale series.
Okay. Okay. So this relation, I don't think I put it in the tropes. This is kind of an instant connection with a slow burn. They dance around each other for I felt like a long time.
But the chemistry
Yeah.
is there. So the slow burn doesn't feel like a slow burn, but it's that 52%, but it's like stuff happens before that, but it's like from the get-go when they meet and he crashes his motorcycle into her yard, like the chemistry is there from like the moment like they see each other. It's not a great meeting by any means, but
But they both do have the shared interest and passion for music.
Yeah.
Which I think. So did this connection bother you at all, Jenny? Did it feel.
I don't think so, because like you guys were saying, like it's a long time. We don't see like 2 months before she realizes like who he is, which I think
Mhm.
it's very comical that she is like this huge music person, but she doesn't know who like what the musicians look like. Oh,
Yeah.
wait,
Well, but
that
if
is
you- But if you're like, as you read the book, she's more into like the older, like she listens to new stuff, but she really like her heart is in like the older musics. So, I mean, honestly, like for me, like I listen to stuff, but I couldn't tell you who anybody is.
But
Like,
this is also 10 years old. So if we look at the world, 2015,
Right.
2016, Instagram's fairly on the newer side. There isn't stuff like TikTok. I mean, YouTube's
Right.
been around, but
we had the Napster.
we had Napster and MySpace. I had a moment, I was watching a TikTok and a girl was doing a duet and she was doing a Red Hot Chili Pepper song. Like I knew it was Red Hot. And then the camera flashes over and she is singing to Flea, like to the guy from, right? That's his name, right? From Red Hot Chili
Yeah.
Peppers.
Lee's the
Like
bassist.
Yeah,
bassist,
like
yeah.
she's singing to him. He's standing right there with his dog. I wouldn't know what he looked like. Also, he looked very old, and that was unfortunate too.
He is.
See, I would know what he looked like, but I followed them. So it's like one of those things where it's like if you follow the band religiously, like back in those
Yeah.
times, like you knew who they were, you knew what they looked like. Like,
Well,
but
and she does
bands that you
say,
didn't focus on, you could have like they could have stood right in front of you and you not have a clue.
yeah, that was part
Yeah.
of their brand, is like they didn't put their faces on their album.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
she likely had their album, but yeah, wouldn't
Didn't.
know.
Well, and that was something that was like very popular for a
Oh, yeah.
long time. Is like you figure like Nirvana's like
Yeah.
albums, like they rarely had their faces on it.
But I
It took
like
me a really long time to realize Dave Grohl was the drummer in Nirvana. So
I know what the guys from Rage Against the Machine looked like in 1994 and 1995. I highly doubt they look like that
Yeah.
now. Do you know what I'm saying?
no.
Yeah.
So, so I think celebrity blindness, especially when they're out of context, I think that's really valid.
Right.
Yeah, I
Well,
agree.
and I mean, they don't look the same as they do on stage, right?
No.
Like,
Right.
Well,
but
that's the thing. Like when
um,
you're on stage, you have that persona, like you have that presence, especially if you like oftentimes like rockers, like they have a stage presence and it's not the same. Like Scott from Stone Temple Pilots, when he was still alive, if
Yeah.
you saw him like off stage, like he did not dress the same way he did like when they were performing.
Yeah.
And so it's like there's a very different like feel to the person on stage versus off stage.
Yeah, and they address it too. Like his hair is longer, like he has
Mm-hmm.
like some stubble going, which is like not a normal thing when he performs. So, they kind of address that whole situation too. So, and also too, who thinks, you're gonna walk outside your door and see some rock star like crashed into your fence? You know what I mean? It's
That's
it's like
true.
that
oh,
unbelievability.
yeah, I just thought it was interesting though. It was like 2 months along before like even any hint of like, dude, what do you do? Like you just sitting at the neighbor's house, like drinking tea and
Yeah. I don't
There's
know.
some validity in that though.
Yeah.
I know. I'm just
I could see it
No, I
though.
get it.
So let's talk about Killian, or the hero. We'll just refer to him the hero so Jenny doesn't get
no, it doesn't bother me.
creeped out.
She doesn't get bugged by it. She just
I
rolls right
don't.
with it.
Yeah. I mean, I named my kids after other people, so
I like that he helps Libby find her voice and
Mhm.
build
Yeah.
her confidence. Like, I think that his swooniness wasn't like an overtly grand type thing. His was in the small, little things.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's like quietly supportive and like urges her to like do more and like with like her capabilities.
And he's so genuinely like just impressed by her. It's
Yeah.
like that he's just genuinely like a fan of what she does and just believes in her like in a
Mhm.
in a steadfast way. And I found it really like compelling. I liked him a lot.
I liked him a lot. I also like that despite his flaws, he obviously has some problems.
Yeah.
he's a rock star.
He's really compelling as a hero, as a main character.
Mhm.
And oftentimes in romance, especially like in a review side and an editorial side, we'll talk about being hooked in.
Yeah.
And this
Yeah.
one hooks you in pretty quickly. One with him crashing into the fence, but just it was a quiet hook. Like it hooks you in. The writing is, I thought, very well done. There are some things that we picked up on that were mistakes through this story. But there's just was something compelling about their connection that really just grabbed hold of you and you could not put this down.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I don't know, was this anybody else's first time? It was mine.
Oh, I didn't even
was my
ask.
first.
Is this
Yeah, it
everyone's
was my
first
first
Kristen
one.
Callihan?
It was
No,
my first
this-
Kristen Callahan.
Mine too.
No, this was a reread. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, see, like for me, like Rockstars is not my go-to because I have a lot of issues with the way they're written because there's so much feeding into the stereotype, and that always bugs me. It's because not every rock star is the same. And it's like, but there for a while I read like three or four, and they were all druggy playboys. And it's like I get that like you like people like go to that stereotype, but not every single one should be like that. So that's why I have a hard time with them.
And I think this one is a really good example of how that can be different because they're well into their
Hmm.
career as rock stars. And so they're all kind of already over that scene a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they're still kind of doing the sleeping around and whatnot, but they've all been through something, with
Yeah.
Jax. And so they're all in a different place. And I appreciated that because it's not just about the drugs and the women and
The scene. Yeah.
the scene. Yeah. So
I also felt that, so let's talk about Libby a little bit. I felt like Libby, for her quiet kind of easiness, in this North Carolina island that she lives on, that she's actually pretty dynamic of a female main character.
Yeah. I
Love
liked her a
her.
lot.
She's definitely girl crush material.
Hmm.
absolutely.
Her behavior is, I felt like everything she did with purpose. She could have easily been damsel in distress, right? She could have
Yeah.
easily been like, woe is me, my poor life, whatever. But she's not. She's just like quiet and powerful in her own voice. She just lacks the confidence to move forward.
Well, but
Which
I
is
think part of that is like her upbringing. Like her parents like were like killed, like in the way in which they died was very traumatic for her. And so it's made her more cautious about some of the steps that she takes.
Um, Amanda, what were your thoughts on Miss Libby? Do we love her?
I liked her a lot. And I go back to like my notes because I'll type when when I'm reading just into my email. And I put like she's so sassy. Like I loved how
Hmm.
sassy she was. Like she gives Killian no quarter. Like she is right there, giving it back to him just as good as he gives it, when they meet and he crashes and she goes out there and just hoses him down until he gets up. Like I was just like, oh, I like her. I like her a lot.
Hmm.
And I had that same feeling throughout the book. And then you feel for her like during her struggles because I'm one of those people who tends to self-isolate. Like I isolate myself. So I felt like that was really relatable, the way that it happened to her, the circumstances in which it happened, and how she was, afraid to put herself back out there. And I just like her character progression, just it worked for me. I liked her a lot.
I have to ask this question, and really, I'm really asking Amanda, but everybody can answer away. What were our thoughts on the pet names? There were a lot of them in this book. They were not like, as I'm reading through, and we got Baby Doll, and then we got Chucky or Annabelle. I was like, how annoyed is Amanda at these pet names?
well, and there's what
Doll is
Ellie
really,
Mae and
oh
Lawn
yeah,
Bum too.
LMA, yeah.
yeah. I thought the lawn bum cracks me up. Like I thought that was
Yeah.
hilarious. The Ellie Mae was kind of funny, like the nod to the Beverly Hillbillies, which was kind of funny. But I do not like Baby Doll. Like that is so that one was like a little cringe for me. I like Babe. I like Baby. I do not. I anything that in like goes that extra mile to infantilize. Like I don't like Baby Girl. I don't like Baby Doll. It's like those two combinations for me. Just I don't know what it is. But then there was a section where I think where she calls him babe and he says, I've never been anybody's babe, and I kind of like it, like situation. I
Hmm.
loved that. Like that's.
As
But
they
yeah,
were
I,
going
I could live
on,
next
I'm
to it.
like, oh gosh, Amanda's gonna come on here and give us like 30-minute rant about cringy nicknames, and I'm just like,
Well, but at one point, it was like, it made it seem like it was a joke. Like, how
Yeah.
many ridiculous names could they come up with,
yeah.
like, to call
Yeah.
each other?
Well, and I mean, she has a ridiculous name to begin with, so.
Yeah.
Well, this is true. But it's like it was almost like a game for Kristen Callihan.
Yeah.
Like, how many names can I shove into one book? Because like from the get-go, like he before he met her, like they met, but he didn't know her name, so he's calling her LMA
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
she was like this little country bumpkin who was pissed off at him.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I just
So
kind of
that's like what I thought about it.
I just kind of looked past the whole baby doll thing. I just pretended like it was baby and moved on with my life. Because I
You're like,
really,
didn't
I
even
really liked
acknowledge.
everything else. So if you know, if it's a really good book and I can mostly look past it.
Yeah.
So I will say one of the things that I think I like Kristen Callihan as an author. I've read her football books. I've read these rock stars. I do think this is one of her earlier books. I think the football books came out first, and then this was her first trad deal book. I do think that some of the dialogue was a little awkward as a reread. Like as I'm going through it, I'm like, some of this is a little awkward, a little painful.
So is she British?
I don't know anything.
Because
She might be.
all of the guys are like kind of like at least part British or part something else. And so I think there were instances for me where, you know, it made sense, some of the things that they said, and then but then some of the things the girls say, I'm like, oh, that sounds, you know, like more of a Britishism than an Americanism kind of thing. So I just wondered, I didn't know.
Well, let's think.
There's nothing in her bio that's comments
Indicates
about where
that.
she lives
Yeah.
or anything.
Yeah, so I wonder if maybe that was like a little bit of like where the dialogue maybe was like a little weird.
It could be. I mean, she could also be Australian too, because like
Possibly.
the book Managed plays a lot in Australia, Commonwealth kind of stuff. So,
She's not British. She's an American author who
okay.
lives in
Okay.
DC.
Okay. Yeah, I
She
mean,
knows
and
a lot of British people.
Well,
yeah,
and
because
wait,
I read them. I started this Saturday night. I'm almost done with book 4. So
wasn't there a little bit of like a British kind of rage 2014 to 2016 a little bit like
probably.
because
Yeah.
wasn't that when we were getting like the Downton Abbeys, the Call of the Midwives coming in too a little bit? 2012, 2013 timeframe.
Yeah.
So really, if we look at the age of the book and what was popular during that time, it is possible that it was just the influence of entertainment. It's also possible that the editor, I can't remember who published this book.
Plain Jane is the.
Uh,
Oh, I don't know who published it. It's Plain Jane is the name on the thing because I thought that was interesting. I was like, oh, who's this?
But the publisher, the editor themselves might have been
Oh, maybe.
British or Commonwealth, you know. So that
And
that
it
can
works.
come
I
play
mean, because
into
I
it.
think they're all supposed to be. They all went to like a British boarding school together, and then like Killian's dad is like British, but his mom is, I think, South American, and then they all kind of have like a mixed background. But I didn't get that same, you know, that same feeling from the heroine. So maybe like some of that was just kind of bleeding over.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I love about a rock star book or a Hollywood norm book is kind of that famous guy meets small town girl.
Yeah.
And he has to figure out how to not be a famous guy. And I love that.
Well, but he
And-
also like has to figure out how to keep his famousness like kind of hidden
yeah.
as he's falling for the small town girl.
Well, and are you going to go on and read the rest of these books, Leah, eventually?
Eventually, yes.
I don't want to
Like,
spoil the
so
second book
there's
for you. 'Cause-
so at the end of this book, there's like a excerpt into book 2, and I'm really intrigued by that because
That's
it's
Jack's
the
books, right?
agent.
Oh, no.
No, Jack's
Oh,
is book
it's
3.
Scotty and
It's
Oh.
Scotty, but Scotty's not his actual name. And I
Gabriel.
honestly, I
Yeah.
always think Scotty doesn't know. Like every time I hear the name Scotty anymore. Well, plus I keep seeing these stupid TikToks about how like kids these days don't know that Scotty doesn't know, and it just keeps popping into my head.
Oh my God, Leah.
Oh my God.
I love Managed. Managed is my favorite book in this entire
I
series.
was wondering if that was,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
I
That's
could
book
see
2.
that. Yeah.
That's my
That's
favorite
my
book.
least. That's my least
I'm
favorite.
really excited about it because like just their interaction on the plane,
He's such
like
an
in
asshole.
the excerpt is like I think I'm gonna love her so
Yes.
much.
Oh yeah.
He's such a dick.
And it's really a good book. When I say it's my least favorite, I mean that like in minute like
Right.
Right.
instances.
They're
But,
all
like, it's
4 or
still
5-star
a
reads, but
5.
it's
It's
not.
just not a
Yeah.
not a high 5. It's a mid 5
Yeah, it's
because the
like,
other
yeah.
ones were higher.
Yeah.
But in the third book, you do get that drugs, rock and roll.
But
Yeah.
not a lot. Not a
Well,
lot. I
but at
mean,
the
it's
same time, though, like since it's a series and this one, like it wasn't the focus, it probably isn't gonna bug me in that one. It's one like book after book after book is the same freaking person.
yeah, and
That's when it
I
bugs
have
it's
me.
not
not the
read a
cliche.
Rockstar series like that.
Me either, but I do
I
think
have.
so. One of the
I
things that
have,
is
which is
often
why I don't read them.
Yeah.
one of the things that's often not well done is the other woman drama in
Yeah.
rockstar romances. And I think
Yeah.
because we've talked about that, how he's a man whore and she's like the good girl
A celibate,
virgin.
like
Yeah.
Yeah. We've talked about that. And I don't think Kristen Callihan plays into those. I don't think
No.
we get tons of other woman drama.
well, there wasn't really anything in this one. Like there was like
No.
some groupie stuff, but like
He doesn't pay
all
any
of it was
attention to them.
expected.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where it's like the level that like you see in this book, it was fine with me.
I will say this book, I do feel like the plot was really. So, as a second read, this is a low stakes book, right? There's not a ton of emotion. There's not a ton of big dynamic stakes in this book. It to do the reread though, it was a little underwhelming because I remember thinking this had really big stakes in this book. And then as I read it, this is kind of a book of vibes.
Well, but I think because like when you like when the book opens, like he like the band has been on this break because of what happened with Jax, and so like you expect there to be a lot of like underlying like turmoil and growth and change and things like that, and like there was, but there wasn't at the same time, and I think that's where it comes. Like it opens on like a bang with like a lot of like build up, and you're a little let down with the way it plays out, but I think that since it is a book one, like I think Jax's book like is where you're going to get those big
Yeah.
emotions and
Well,
stakes and things like that
And
because
Libby
of
was
the
so dynamic in
story.
this book. When I say the plot was underwhelming, I don't mean that the characters weren't dynamic. I
Right.
just meant there wasn't the.
It was a little
Well,
easy.
I
Yeah.
think the second time through, you know how it's going to play out. Like there's a lot of different ways it could have went when they like separate, which I thought their separation was very understandable.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I
It
wouldn't
did
call it
make sense.
miscommunication, just either both of them
Well, there's a
decided
lack
not
of
to,
communication
they
there,
both
but like
decided not to communicate. So
Yeah.
like
but it also was the I want to do what I think is best for her and what's best for him type of thing. Like they're both
Yeah.
thinking of the other person. So it like the lack of communication in that, it's understandable
And
and
it's a
it's
little
actually really
cliche.
mature. It's a mature lack of communication that
It's
you
a
don't
little,
always
but
get.
it is a little cliche. But I didn't mind it because I like
Right.
that, right?
Yeah,
But it
I mean,
made sense.
it did.
yeah, and I think maybe like, what Jenny said too, like because you know how it's going to play out, maybe it's a little underwhelming because I didn't find it underwhelming. Like I thought it was like a really mature situation. And then also too, I think it gave them room for what happens at the end, when they play songs for each other, like live and what they mean and like just
That's
this
great.
it would just like I don't know. I
Yeah, his
really
song
thought that
choice,
it
like I had to
it
giggle.
worked really well. Like
Yeah.
I liked it a
Right.
lot.
I do like the resolution. Okay, so this is something, and has anybody read Kylie Scott's play in her
I read
Rockstar series?
Blick.
Red Blick, yeah. I don't
I haven't,
haven't
is
read-
that the new one?
No, Play is the drummer's book.
No, I
don't
didn't
think I
read
made it
Play. I
that
read
far.
Lick. I think I read Lick and book 2.
So Play, there is actually the big when they finally have sex. That scene felt very, very similar to the one in Play. Like the scene,
Oh,
The limo.
yeah. And I was like, huh. But I mean, the books
I
came out
mean,
about the same time, and how many ways can you do it? You can only do it so many
Yeah.
ways. So,
Yeah.
right. And I
um,
mean, I guess a lot of people have sex in the limo, so.
Yeah, I can
Right.
think of like I was talking about
Right.
another book with someone today where it was a limo
Having
scene
sex
and
in
it
a
was
and I
limo.
think
totally
doesn't Jocelyn's hockey book, that first book, don't they have sex in the limo in the first
Most books that we read, if they're in a limo, they're having
Having
sex.
sex?
they're doing something in the limo.
Like
Yeah.
So,
whether or
Which,
not it's full on, like there
Yeah.
is some touching of private parts,
which
whether they're
again,
touching their
who's in a
own
limo
or touching
now?
each
Like,
other's. Like there's always action in
so now,
limos.
anytime I get in a limo, I'm just gonna think we should wipe this down with Clorox wipes. Like, not that I'm
How
getting in a
are you
limo.
Getting in limos?
right? Like, I'm like, yeah.
I might get in a limo. You don't know.
If we win the lottery, there will be
Freaking-
signs because
Yeah.
Becky's traveling by limo.
I am a
Freaking
passenger
party
princess.
She's gonna be throwing lube out the top window.
Yeah.
It'll be like the scene from Pretty Woman, but instead
Yeah.
of like him calling for her, I'll be pelting
It's
people
lube.
with
Yeah.
lube.
Yep.
My
She'll
own-
be like,
for you.
You'll be
There's a
Oprah
goal.
with lube. You get a lube and you get a lube.
I
Everybody
think
gets
that
some
if I ever win the
lube.
lottery, I should get my own lube label. Like start my own business and get my own lube label.
Yep.
I
we
mean,
go.
it's not a bad idea, to be honest.
mean, Yeah, something people always gonna need. So
Right?
It's true. We'll
Right?
have to create our own lube compound.
Sorry. This is my fault.
wow,
Sorry.
It's just,
all that from the limo.
I missed it on vacation, so I had to,
You missed us, didn't you?
yeah, sure did.
We missed you too.
So
You just didn't have any lube conversations while you were gone.
I do feel that our lineup of Rockstar books this month, we go from like low angst to, oh my gosh, what the heck are we doing angst?
And then back to one that's fairly low angst at the end.
Okay.
So
'Cause
yeah.
I started just paging through the Britt Benson book and I'm like, whoa, we are,
Oh, we
Yeah, but
know.
it's Britt
We know
Benson. You
she's
should have
Yeah,
known
it
that was
is.
going to
Yeah.
happen.
you
That girl does
guys.
not know how to not write angst.
But I think
Right.
I think angst and Rockstar kind of goes hand in hand.
Oh yes,
yeah.
I
Yep.
agree.
And I feel like you get some of that in this one too. I mean, there's a little bit. It's not a lot. And I think that's like this is a very good like entry point into Rockstar.
Mhm.
Like if you're not sure and you don't want to go that full on like kind of cliche with a rockstar lifestyle, like
Yeah.
I think this is a really good like entry point.
Yeah, but we're going
I
to
agree.
mess it up next week just so we're all
Yeah.
clear.
Well, no, aren't we doing Rockstar next week?
Yeah.
Is that one
Yes.
super angsty? Okay. I haven't read that yet, so I was waiting.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
That's going to be my first Lauren Rowe book.
Is it really?
Really?
Hmm.
This is when we
the
find
heck?
out why C-Bomb is the dirty dog that C-Bomb is.
Yeah, I'm
I
gonna do
honestly
like
was
a
going to read
whole-
C-Bomb's book, but then I was like, I think I need to start at the beginning.
Yeah.
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 This is
So I
we're
get
where
do
like
a
the
whole
full
Morgan
force of like how
Brothers
much of a
read.
dick he really
he
is. just
enters
from
his
what you guys have
villain
said.
era in this book.
I do like a good villain, so
Yeah.
Okay, so is there anything else in this book that you guys want to talk about before we move on? Was there any other scenes that
I just
When
really
she-
like the cast of characters that
Yeah.
she created. Like they're supportive but not supportive at the same time. So for a little bit, like I didn't know if I was gonna like them.
Yeah.
But they're
That's fair.
supportive in their own way and like protective. And so like the issues I had with them made sense. And I was like, well, yeah, that I can understand where you're coming from, but why at the same time? But I just really enjoyed like the cast as a whole in this book.
Well, and I think that this band is the cast of characters in this book are very dynamic. And the
Yeah.
lack of stakes in the plot, I think, make up
Yeah.
with this very dynamic cast.
I agree.
Anything for you, Amanda? Anything you want to hit on before we go to the next thing?
There were two things, like the scene where she cuts his hair. Like that's like one of my favorite like
I was gonna say.
microtropes in a book. And that
And
scene
she
was just
doesn't know
like
it.
and she doesn't realize she's sticking her chest in his face, and I was just like,
Well,
okay. And she,
but she
yeah.
doesn't realize like his hair is usually
Oh,
like chin length. Like
yeah, and
she
she's like buzz
cuts
cutting him
his
basically.
hair.
Yeah. Have you
Yeah.
read the Jay Salmon book? It's technically the second book in her Rockstar series.
No,
Oh,
I haven't.
there's a
It's
hair
on my
cutting.
list.
There's a
Like,
hair cutting scene in that one too.
yeah, I'm very like into those, and this one was good. I liked it a
Yeah.
lot. I was like, oh yeah, this is like I'm in this one fully. But and then I'd say
I
the
mean,
only other thing is like I really like the playlist. Like I think Kristen Callihan is probably of my similar generation. I was very big like the Nirvana, the
I did
Audio
like the
Slave,
playlist.
like all of that. I was like, and throughout this whole series, it's been phenomenal.
Do you pay attention to the playlist then?
Yes, I do.
Do you, Jenny, pay attention to the playlist in a book?
Yeah. Usually I
I
look at the
don't.
playlist first if it's available.
I looked at this one just because it's music based, but like the songs she had woven like through the
Yeah.
story
Yeah.
too, like that they played, especially like not off the wall ones, but like the Django Reinhardt ones
Yeah.
and things like that. Like we listened to that stuff because Michael's really into it. And so it's like there's a lot of music in this book that I really enjoy. And so I went back and looked at like the playlist itself.
Okay. I do not ever
And
pay
Becky's
attention
not
to
looking at
playlists.
I usually don't. I usually could give two shits about a playlist, but like since this one, like Michael plays guitar and like has been in bands before, so like there's a little more connection with it,
Yeah.
and like these are like this is music that we listen to.
You don't have to justify it. I get it. I just
Just saying.
I
Usually I don't look.
I don't pay attention because, well, actually today, no, I don't think it was today. It was earlier this week. I was on Instagram like before I went to bed, and an author was like doing a playlist reveal for their upcoming release, and I was like,
That's weird.
that's weird.
Oh no, I get super into that. I
Yeah,
love it.
I think that sets the mood. Like,
Yep.
yeah.
Okay. I think it
Your
makes sense
first
for a
page
Rockstar
just set
book.
my mood. I don't care about your freaking playlist.
But the funny thing is like
gosh.
this is the only one where she does like where she lists out the songs. Like the other books like don't have it. But I highlighted them while I was reading. So like just
So
I don't know.
she
I'm very
made
into it.
yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm very into it. So
Okay. Jenny, is there anything in this book you would also like to talk about before we move on to the next thing?
I mean, we hit on it like him, like he just sticks his foot in his like mouth all the time. Like
I was a
like
dummy
Prince
sometimes.
song going back and like the band's like, really, dude? Like
Yeah. Yeah, he's dumb sometimes.
yeah.
But I think that's what kind of gives him a bit of realism, some genuineness to him, that he's not so perfectly scripted.
Yes.
And I
agree.
like that in a hero. I think that levels up a hero when they aren't.
Or human.
Yeah, there's a little bit of humanity to them, and because no one's perfect with words 24/7, you know?
Yeah, it just cracked me up because then he's like, hey, answer the phone. Like,
yeah.
But I'm also the girl that comes up with the comeback, like 3 hours later and wants to like run up to the back to the person and be like, blah, 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 because
Yeah.
I didn't think of it when it first came and happened. So
So you texted to me.
I texted to Leah, like, this is what I should have said.
That is the worst thing though, like when you have like a really great comeback, like after the fact,
Yeah.
but you can't use it because the moment is over.
Yeah,
There's nothing worse.
nothing worse.
I keep a note in my phone. Don't come back.
You have a note in your phone of comebacks.
Comeback notes.
Oh my. Oh, tell us your neurospicy without telling us your neurospicy.
Right.
She's like, I just want to have that fight again so I can use it next time.
Exactly.
Watch out, Jeremy. She's going to be on fire the next time you...
Oh, I can never win against him. I use it against other people.
There you go. Okay, so let's go ahead and do our thumbs up, thumbs down. Leah, thumbs up, thumbs down on
This is a
Idol.
thumbs up for me. I really enjoyed it. I will be reading more of this book and more Kristen Callihan. So I did.
Okay.
I liked it a lot.
Jenny, thumbs up, thumbs down.
Thumbs up.
Okay. And Amanda, thumbs up, thumbs down.
This was definitely a thumbs up. This is the first series this year that I've binged back to back. So it feels really good. And like I'm almost done with I'm like 30% into book 4. So big thumbs up for me.
Big thumbs up for you. Thumbs up for me. I do really like this book, and I like this series. I'm a big Kristen Callihan fan, and I'm excited that her football is getting a new release in Trad Pub, and I'm hoping she'll rewrite some. She'll go back and write some contemporary. I know she there for a while was writing some fantasy, so
yeah. And so I stalked her a little bit on, social after this because there was no book for Whip, and I'm like, is he getting a book? And it looked like she was thinking about it last year, and then it just kind of stopped, and she was redoing the football stuff, and I'm really hoping she goes back to it because I want his book.
Okay.
Yeah, I think she's adding a 5th book to the football stuff.
She is.
So maybe,
okay, is that first? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
maybe.
Hopefully.
And I wasn't sure who published this series, but I think it's Berkeley that picked up her football series. So, okay. So if people liked Idol, what other books should they read? Anybody have any titles?
I do.
Yeah, go ahead.
So Midnight Blue by L.J. Shen. He is the rock star. She is, I don't remember what she does, but it's very well done. The Stage Dive series by Kylie Scott. If you like single first person point of view, which I typically don't like, but in her books it doesn't bug me. And then Ketley Allison has a Players to Lovers series. I think 1 or 2 of the books, but Play is the drummer in the band, and she re-released them as SK Allison because she recovered and retitled them. But he has like a secret, and I can't tell you because it really spoils like a lot of the plot of the book, but there's like a personal thing that's happening that is like, it's really interesting with the way the story plays out. And I really enjoyed the book. And then the Falling Stars series by A.L. Jackson.
Yeah, those are good ones. What do you have, Amanda?
I think if you like this book, then you will like the book that we're doing this month, Dirty Like Me by Janie Diamond. I think they're very similar in the feel that it's an easy intro into a rock star world, and hers progressively get a lot more angsty as that series goes along. But the Dirty Like Me, and I won't talk about it too much because we're going to do the sip and discuss on it, but they're very similar. And then I think probably like Swoon by Lauren Rowe.
Mm-hmm.
Only just because it's not that angsty, and I feel like you're getting like kind of that low stakes into a rock star situation.
I agree.
So.
What do you got, Jenny?
I read a lot of rock stars, and most of mine are like super angsty. So, yeah, I would second Amanda's like suggestions. That was Dirty Like Me would be
very similar.
Very good. Yeah.
So I did a couple listicles, and we had a rock star. We built our dream band of rock star heroes and heroines on a podcast episode, 2 or 3 years ago. So we probably are due for an
It's been a
update.
while.
So some rock stars I do think are very similar, especially with that small town rock star meets Norm vibe. Take Me Home by Carrie Elks. That's book 1 in the Heartbreak Brothers books.
Oh, yes, that's a good one.
We're going to read book 2 in a couple weeks, but Between Never and Forever, Hometown Heartless.
See, that's like got the angst. Like
Yeah.
It has the angst, but it's small town versus rock star, but she's the rock star. Lies and Lullabies by Serena Bowen. That's a multi-author series with Rebecca Yarros and Devney Perry. And all 3 of those books I think would fit.
Yeah, they would.
Let's see here. The Mixtape by Brittany Cherry, I think, works a little bit, but it is a little angstier.
that's like heartbreaking.
Yeah.
That is angsty. And it's messy.
It is so messy. Fractured Hearts by L.M. Danglish. If you guys haven't read her, don't sleep, and you like rock stars, do not sleep on her books. They're so good. If let's see here. So I had Smitten by Lauren Rowe. I think Smitten works too. And then Strung Along by Hannah Cohen. We read book 2 in that Cherry Peak series for book club last month. But book 1, he's a rock star that comes back to the small town, and she's, new to town and a beautician. And then Irresistibly Perfect by Jay Salmon has the haircutting scene in it.
Yeah, I'm going to have to read that.
And then Duet, which is the Road Kings series by Julie Criss, Kriss. If you like this series and how it progressively gets a little angstier, a little messier, read the Road King series by Julie Criss. And part of the great thing with the Julie Criss series is they're actually older, but they were never super famous rock stars.
Yeah, you were telling, I've had that on my list for, I think, probably since you guys did that episode where you were building your own. It's just, I have to get in, I have to be in a rock
You have
star
to be in
mood.
the mood.
No, I think that's fair.
And I think I'm there.
Julia
so.
Wolf has a couple too.
Yeah, but they're angsty. I'm waiting for those for next week.
Well, we should have
Okay.
held off on some of the other ones.
Well,
So I was
Just
like,
kidding.
I read a lot of like angsty rock stars.
like I didn't say
We can just do
Cassandra.
angsty books too.
You didn't say who?
Cassandra, what's her last name? Robbins. Her books are like, they are the ones where like drug use, like everybody's having sex and orgies.
I
And
think I might have read those ones.
if you read
Is that-
those, then
was
no,
that
you
your
don't like
trauma?
Rockstar. They're trauma.
You need to look at my list.
It's like
Read
trauma
those.
dumping.
Or look at our
and
Rockstar
lots of
episode.
sex.
Yeah, those are the Cassandra Robbins, because
Oh.
they tie into her motorcycle club books, which I know you've read.
Which I like a motorcycle club though.
You can be a whore in a motorcycle club, but you can't be a whore in a rock star.
Yeah, and I'm like,
Nobody
who do you
said
Look
my
think
at you with
logic
your
makes
double
sense.
whore standards.
I've been in like a 1%er MC like in Mafia binge lately. Like they're whores too. Like my thought process does not make sense, but it is mine, so I am keeping it.
You do you, boo.
Also, my tastes have changed like in the last like 3 or 4 years, so I probably would not really flinch at anything
Right.
at this point. I mean, I read the Trad Wife cheating book. Like again, the rock stars probably won't bug me anymore.
Right. Probably not. I mean, you read Trad Wife cheating books. Like
There's sex with other people on the page while they're in relationships.
and the rest of us are going, what?
Yeah, I've
There's
read the
just-
cheating.
yeah,
It doesn't
multiple
bug
things
me. I
wrong
don't know
there.
what is wrong with me anymore.
Jenny's going to diagnose you.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if I'm neurospicy, so I'm just not diagnosed.
I mean, you're here.
I think
so-
it's part of the entry
This
fee,
is true.
diagnosed or undiagnosed. I think that's how you get in.
Yeah.
Right?
You must
I
be like 6 steps from normal. It's the rule.
well, I'm definitely that. So
Do you have a hyperfixation? Because I think that's the other.
we're not going to talk about that.
Okay, so that's a wrap on this episode. We hope you enjoyed our deep dive into Idol by Kristen Callihan. We'll be back Sunday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the YouTube. We are going to dissect the Rogue, the Rake, the Playboy. We're
I'm
going.
excited.
I'm excited, but I am afraid that my shelves are not going to support this episode at all.
There will be lots
It's
of
okay.
Googling for this episode, I think.
Yeah.
The flirt, the man whore.
I went through my Goodreads and my Playboy shelf has 4 books on it.
Yeah,
That's
mine
it.
is not.
Because
yeah.
past Leah is stupid.
Stupid.
And
Or
present
Jenny
Leah still is
doesn't
not great about
do
it.
anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just put red. I don't even like star them anymore.
Jenny. Jenny.
Oh, my Goodreads is a hot mess.
I think I'm currently reading 8 books, if that says anything.
Well, at one time mine was up to 216 and I'm like, I'm not currently reading 200.
16 books.
Mine's
Next,
pretty high too. So
we'll be back next week. Stacy dubbed this Angsty April, Rockstar and Angsty April. So we'll be back next week as we are diving into Rockstar by Lauren Rowe. I think this is book 3 in the Morgan Brothers series.
Yeah, I think so.
Because I think Ball Peen comes as book 4. But I'm super excited for you guys to read this and for us to talk about it. So yeah. Anything else before we go?
I think we have covered it all and then some.
We've covered it all and a little bit extra. Stacy says it's book 5 on Amazon. So Ball Peen must come before it.
I have a lot of reading to do this week.
Are you going to read the whole series?
Yeah.
From hero to captain?
Yeah, I waited just for this.
Okay. But you've read Reed Rivers.
I've read Reed Rivers and I've read Swoon and Smitten. I just never read the Morgan Brothers. So
Okay.
She's binging it.
She's in for a
series
week.
order
More power to
again.
you.
Have you read this series, Jenny?
I've read a couple. I think I'm really bad at like starting a series when it comes out and then never going back.
But so the first book in this series is actually a trilogy of the sisters book. You do not need to read it. It is not for you and Amanda. It is not for you.
I'm not going to read that.
It deals with like BDSM, the sex club, and he's a man. He is a rogue. He is a rake. He is a playboy. But
he's a dirty hoe.
He's a dirty hoe, but he has a redemption arc, so it's okay. But it's Hero starts it with truly into the Morgans, and I love that book. So, but it's a fireman and a physical therapist in book 1. So
I'm excited.
Jenny might have thoughts on that.
Right.
Anyway,
I'm just skipping right to Rockstar and
and I really like Ball Peen Hammer, and we probably need to do something on that one because he's a sex worker. He's a porn star.
Yeah, you talked about that one. I think when you guys did the other episode.
Yeah.
I forget what we called it, but yeah.
Yeah, it's a good one. Anyway, until next time, everybody.
Happy reading, everybody.
Find us on Instagram at Buzzing About Romance or on Twitter at Buzzing Romance. If you like the podcast, please leave a review. If you'd like to support us directly, join the Bookcase and Coffee Patreon and receive exclusive content only available to Patreon members. Check out bookcaseandcoffee.com for our on-the-shelf show notes.